In January 2025, Prime Council officially emerged as an organization, but its story began earlier. What started in 2024 as a simple WhatsApp community became a movement, a growing space committed to transforming the mindset, capacity, and leadership posture of young people. By April 2025, that vision was formally established as Prime Council Limited, a UK-based organization with a clear mandate to raise and guide value-driven leaders across every sphere of influence. In January 2025, we hosted our first monthly webinar. By December 2025, we had successfully delivered 12 monthly webinars alongside 3 Instagram Live leadership conversations and 1 dedicated skills training session for our volunteers, equipping both our audience and internal team with tools for growth and execution. Recognizing the need for deeper, personalized transformation, Prime Council expanded its offerings in August 2025 with the launch of the Vision Clarity Call and one-on-one mentorship sessions, providing strategic guidance, accountability, and clarity to individuals navigating purpose, career, and leadership decisions. December 2025 marked a significant milestone. We hosted our first physical training series, the Strategic Positioning Masterclass, in Birmingham, United Kingdom. With over 35 emerging leaders and early career professionals in attendance, the session created an environment of learning, strategy, and transformation, reinforcing Prime Council's commitment to tangible, real-world impact. Behind the scenes, growth was happening as well. Our team expanded fourfold, growing from 2 to 8 dedicated members, significantly increasing productivity, collaboration, and delivery capacity. This growth reflects not just numerical expansion, but a strengthening of systems, structure, and shared vision. Throughout this journey, Prime Council has remained anchored to excellence at global and godly standards, guided by our foundational pillars: impact, influence, income. As part of our commitment to accessible transformation, we also launched our first digital product, the Prime Council Personal Development Guide, now available on our website. This resource serves as a practical framework for individuals seeking clarity, structure, and intentional growth. Prime Council is more than an organization. It is a platform, a pipeline, and a purpose-driven movement. And this is only the beginning.
And this is only the beginning. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our monthly webinar at Prime Council. So good to see you. I want you to invite your friends because we're about to go really deep this evening. So I can see Blessing from the UK. I can see Desire. I want you to share the links on your platform so that people will know that we're live. We're live on TikTok, we're live on Instagram, and we're live on YouTube. Yes, I can see Desire. So good to see everyone. So good to see everyone. It's been a while. I think the last time we met was before SPM 2.0, right? Yes, before SPM 2.0. Yeah. Cool. Okay, just waiting. I can see about 10 plus people here. Hello, Mr. Akin from all the way from Luton. I can see Adeyemo. I can see Festus from Nigeria. So good to be here. It's gonna be so. I want you to share it on your platform. Because it's going to be really great this evening. Of course, you know, anytime you're live with Coach Avoola, it's always a remarkable transformative session. So I don't want anyone to be left out. Yes. And we're also live on Instagram. I can see Eniola Mide on Instagram. So good to. I'm so excited to be back again. I think after the SPM masterclass, I told my team that should we go live, and we just had to agree that no, we need to rest. So we're back now, ready to fly. We're speaking on how to overcome procrastination. Yes, Yes, Mr. Daniel from Newcastle. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. I can see Bola from Nigeria. I can see Peace from Nigeria. So good to have everyone. I can see Joy from Nigeria. Remarkable, remarkable, remarkable. One says 1 minute more. We're gonna kick off. Yes, Peace from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. We're also live on TikTok. Yes, we're live on TikTok. So just in case, you have no option not to be able to join live, right? Either on Instagram or on YouTube, on TikTok. Yes, there we go. Now, class has begun. Guys, get your pen and paper. Of course, you know that you can't come to my session, right? And just say you want to accumulate or assimilate everything without actually putting down things. And of course, that's not really a good way to really learn, because many of times we, overcompensate for our intellectual sort of memory, but most times there are many things that are going on in our lives that we forget on key information. So it's really, really good for you to have your notes, your pad, your iPad to take note. Thank you very much, Joba from Nigeria. Now let's kick off, because we don't have much time this evening. We don't have much time this evening. Guys, we're speaking about the major cankerworm of today's world. Guess what? Procrastination. Everyone is guilty. Everybody is guilty of procrastination, including I speaking to you, right? But think about it this way, that as much as every human being come to this world, right, we're all victims of challenges. But the difference is that some people find a way to navigate their way through, while some people cower in. So challenges are not what makes life unique. It's your ability to overcome, right? And we're speaking about one of the major challenges that's really affected a lot of people globally in today's world, whether you're white, you're black, Caucasian, African, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're old or young. Procrastination is one phenomenon that's affected a lot of people that's in that destiny, right? So let me start flying this evening. What's procrastination in simple terms that anyone can get? What's procrastination? What is procrastination? Unnecessary delay of important action. Look at that. Unnecessary delay of an important action, despite knowing the negative consequences. That's it. Unnecessary delay of an important action, despite you being aware of the consequences of not taking that action. And most times, procrastination is a result of internal resistance. That's it. Internal resistance. So what's procrastination in simplest term? Procrastination is knowing what to do, but finding an excuse not to do it. Look at that, guys, look, wake up. That's it. You know what to do, but you find a way around you not doing it. You give an excuse. You excuse yourself away. Most times, internal resistance. I don't feel qualified. I'm fearful. I'm shy. Or external excuses. Oh, the government, my parents, there's no money. And look at that. Everyone has a coping mechanism for procrastination. Everybody has a coping mechanism, a way of escape in justifying why you've procrastinated. Are you with me, guys, this evening? Thank you, Mrs. Dupe Balogun, for joining this evening. So grateful. So grateful. Procrastination in simplest time is unnecessary delay of important decisions or actions, despite knowing the negative consequences of not taking that action. So you know what to do, but you find a way around not doing it. Look at that explanation there. Guys, I want you to begin to take down this. I've given you the explanation for procrastination. You know what to do, but you're not doing it. And I'm going to just fly a bit this evening, because you can be thinking, okay, what's the difference between procrastination, right, and ignorance and distraction? So procrastination is knowing what to do and not doing it. But what's ignorance? Ignorance is not knowing what to do. So you're not even in awareness of what you should do. You look at that. And distraction is you doing the wrong thing. Guys, do you see the flow of thought here this evening? So procrastination, ignorance, and distraction. These are the three major phenomena that is affecting a lot of young people, imagine leaders in our world today. Procrastination, ignorance, and distraction. So I want you to begin to start having that reflective thought. Which one of these three phenomena are you struggling with? Which one has put you down? Is it ignorance? You don't know what to do. Or is it distraction? You're doing the wrong thing. You're taking actions, but in the wrong way, in the wrong step, in the wrong direction. Or procrastination, you know what to do, but you don't even take a step at all. Do you see that now? And you might be thinking, how do I know I procrastinate? How do I know I'm a victim of procrastination? Look at that. You know much, but you do little. You know much, but you do little. Look at that. You know much, but you do little. Think about it, guys. This is a very serious topic because, and you're going to be seeing all through the session this evening on why paying attention to procrastination is really a big deal. Your knowing to doing gap is really wide. You know so much, you do little. The gap between your knowledge and your execution is really, really wide. You spend more time consuming than creating. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. You see what I'm talking about? Ignorance there, because someone can say, oh, I don't procrastinate, but I may be ignorant. And now you go into that knowledge quest, right? You keep on learning. You keep on learning. Think about it. An average young person in today's world has been learning for as much as they can remember. From 2 years old, you've been in the nursery or kindergarten, then you go to the primary school, right? And you go to secondary, tertiary, you do master's degree, you do doctorate, you become an emeritus, you do postgraduate research, and you go into the corporate world, and you're told to now start learning the rules of the game. Ever learning, never coming to that knowledge of stability. Guys, you see the point here? You're victim of procrastination. You avoid uncomfortable tasks. There are many people that the quest for soft life is making them push what they should do. The Bible said something really important. It is good that a man bears his yoke in his youth. For every life that must be fulfilled in today's world, there's a certain weight of yoke you must bear. Yoke there meaning responsibility, demand on your potential, accountability. And many people in the midst not to bear those yoke, they procrastinate. So you see, for example, I'm going to use familiar examples. Someone that he has the opportunity to get married and settle down, but just because he doesn't want that commitment, he doesn't want to be held accountable by a family, by his wife, by his children, he continues being in the streets. He's procrastinating. And at a point in time, he's 30, he's 25, he's 35, he feels like a baller, he feels like a young guy. But think about it, and I'm going there now. What is life called? The lifetime. Everything you do in life is limited and relative to the amount of time you have. No wonder you say you are 50 years old, not young. And I've brought one phenomenon at SPM 2.0, right? For many of you that joined, I said, in today's world, they'll tell you, let's say, for example, Ayo is going to live for 100 years. Let's say, for example, Ayo is 30 years. How many years has Ayo got left? 70 years, right? And you think, oh, I've got 70 more years. I have enough time to waste, isn't it? I have more to live than what I've lived, isn't it? And like, oh, let me still procrastinate. I can still delay. But what Ayo does not know is that his productive years in today's corporate world is 30 years, because by 60, you're retired. No matter how good you are, no matter how productive you are, no matter how efficient you are, you're expected to leave the corporate system by 60 years. So if Ayo is 30, he's got 30 more years of productive years in the corporate system. Now you're thinking, oh, I don't want to work in the corporate system. Are you telling me that even by 60 years, even in terms of achieving purpose, you should not be in discovery. Even at 60, you should not be at just initial execution. You should already be at consolidation. At 60, you should not be the one saying, I'm achieving purpose. By 60 years old, if you've lived your youth well, start training people, consolidating on your experience and your legacy. Guys, remember I told you the core of the Prime Counsel message, which is on ladder of success, right? From existence to survival, to thriving, to impact, purpose, and legacy. Think about it that by 70 years, you're on that quest to achieving purpose. Why? It is good, yes. But by 70 years, you should start thinking about your legacy. What shall outlive you after you have gone? And that's why they'll say, even in today's corporate system, financial systems, by 60, if you don't have a will, for example, your term that's not serious. No one is saying you're going to die, but it's saying that you are older now than how you used to be before. So what am I saying, guys, in essence? If you don't pay attention to these three things, procrastination, ignorance, and distraction, you will end up becoming 30, 40, 50, and you think back and say, where has time gone? Time has gone. Time waits for no man. Time waits for no man, guys. Time waits for no man. What causes procrastination? One of the symptoms is fear of failure. Many people are not. Look at this, guys. Look at what we're doing at Prime Counsel. And I know many of you that had joined us at the first webinar last year, January. You saw how haphazard, how awkward it was. But look at what we're doing today. Because we've been able to grow, not just with time. Many people say it gets better with time. No, nothing gets better with time. Time is absolute. You don't have control over time. You can only make use of time. You can't trap time. You can only trade with time. Right? So we started, look at where we are today. And it took consistent improvement to take feedback, correction, learning on the game. For example, we're streaming live on TikTok. It took us about 4 months to get there. And many times we announced it on the flyer that we're streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But back end, we're struggling. Does that mean we failed? No. We're improving, we're learning. That's it. But you need to have that courage to be able to say, failure, you're not going to define me. And many people are procrastinating those dreams, visions, ambition because of the fear of failure. What will people say? Success also. Many people, let me tell you in today's world, there are many people that don't really want to get big. Yes, I've met people like that as far as becoming global, influential, becoming really great, that's not their lot. They just want an average life. Remember that we're product of our choices. It says something there in the book of Isaiah 3 verse, I think 12. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good of your land. Willingness first. God checks that to see how much of what he can give you to achieve in today's world. And judgment, fear of judgment. Perfectionism. Many people don't want to make mistakes. That's it. Talk is cheap. Everyone has the best perfect answer to what they are not doing. Oh, play the ball this way. He's not on the pitch running. So he doesn't want to get there because he wants to be perfect. Low clarity, that's ignorance there. Ignorance. Because if you don't know something, what's the should I say the ratio of success you experience in that endeavor? Very low. So why people are not attempting to achieve their goals and ambition is because they don't know anything or they don't know much of what they should know. 1 Corinthians 8 verse 2 says something really important, and I want you guys to pick this up. Of course, I've told you to have your note and pen. If any man thinks he knows, let him know that he knows nothing as he ought to know. And that's why there's that consistent need for personal development. I once met somebody that said, I've done personal development last 6 years. I'm like, what do you mean? This is why you are mediocre and not going anywhere. It's not a box you tick. It's continuous. In today's world, you have its CPD, continuous personal development. Continuous personal development and emotional avoidance. That's the last reason why people procrastinate. Because there's pressure. Think about it, that to achieve your goals, like I said, there will be a weight of responsibility. And many people, because they don't want that weight of responsibility, they avoid it because they want to live in the moment. They live based on their feelings, not based on purpose. Are we here this evening, guys? Are we here this evening? I want you to highlight which point, has stuck with you. I want you to tag it. I want you to tag us on our Instagram, Prime Counsel. I want you to tag me on my Instagram also. Do a recording. Really, really important for people to know that something great is happening here, guys. So I've said in the introduction that procrastination is unnecessary delay of important action, despite knowing the consequences, both negative or positive, and is usually driven by internal resistance. And I said procrastination is knowing what to do but not doing it. Ignorance is not knowing what to do at all. Why distraction is doing the wrong thing. And a lot of young people, a lot of emerging leaders fall between these three categories. And this evening, we're trashing this topic called procrastination. How do we overcome it? Really important. Now, there's a particular phenomenon that's quite similar to procrastination, which is postponement. Now, guys, I want you to wake up with me. Wake up with me. There's procrastination, delay, but there's postponement, because someone can be asking now, Coach, does that mean everything I said to do, I just go on doing them? Well, contextual now. And for many of you that my mentees, you know what I call contextual truth and absolute truth. Absolute truth are truth that is, it doesn't depend on any other context, right? For example, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, John 3 verse 16. Whether you're in Nigeria or the UK or US, whether it's the next 5 years or last 10 years, whether you're Jew or Greek, it is constant. It's an absolute truth. But contained in our world today, we have a lot of contextual truths. That means it must be applied truth. That if you take everything hook, line, and sinker, which is what a lot of people do in today's world, that's why they fall into trouble. And you're like, it's not a lie, but this truth is contextual. For example, based on the times, who was saying it, what context, right? So what am I saying in essence? I've told you, and you've always seen it in my carousel, I would say start before you feel ready, isn't it? Just you need courage to start. You don't need to be confident. Just hit on those goals, right? So I can be saying, I'm going to start all what I should be doing in the next 10 years now. Now, get the context. Because there's a word called postponement. Think about it even as your coach, right? There are things that I want to do, but I'm not able to do them now because of other conditions that are beyond my control or within my control. For example, I've not grown to that capacity yet. You get that now? So there's a slim difference between procrastination and postponement. And what's postponement? Strategic delay based on prioritization or timing. Look at that. Procrastination is unnecessary delay of important decision, but postponement is strategic delay based on prioritization and timing, informed decision. You get the point now, guys. I want you to. Are you guys on YouTube? Are you guys on Instagram? I want to see the comment. I want to see what is striking so deep with you. Any revelation you're getting, any thought. I want to see it. That encourages me there. Honestly, your feedback really, really encourages me. What causes postponement? For example, resource allocation. For example, probably I want to do a doctorate degree. I don't have the money now. Does that mean I'm just going to go apply? I can apply and taking that step, but at the end of the day, nobody's going to give me an admission if I don't have the money. So I need to have a strategy and a plan. That's Next year, 2027, I'm going for a doctorate degree. Does that mean I'm procrastinating? No, because it's based on prioritization and timing. Guys, are you getting it now? Because, and I'm coming somewhere. I'm coming to where the real liberation is. Better timing, scheduled or defined next step. So I know what I want to do next. For example, for the brand, there are things that we want to do in the next 1 month. For example, just to give you a context, we're doing targeted ads. We've tried it before, it didn't work. We had to go back to the drawing board as a team to get an ads expert. Does that mean we've procrastinated on that? No, but we're planning back end because we have prioritized it. There's a clear time to it. It is scheduled. Do you get the point now? You maintain control. You know, with procrastination, you lose control of the consequences dictate the results. In procrastination, the consequences of not taking action determines the results. But with postponement, your own decision dictates the results. You have control over the outcome in postponement. In procrastination, you lose control. I have a statistics here. Chronic procrastination has increased 4 times in the past 30 years. And social media is accelerating it. Guys, 4-fold increase in the past 30 years. That means there's so many books that should have been out there. There's so much product and services that should have been out there in our world today, whether in the US, UK, Nigeria, Ghana, India, because procrastination is increasing daily, especially with the advent of social media. Because with social media, you're distracted. You end up doing the wrong thing, and you end up, because think about it, when you do the wrong thing, have you done the right thing? No. So you that is doing the wrong thing and someone that is not doing anything, you're in the same boat. Do you get the point now? You see why I linked distraction, which is doing the wrong thing, and procrastination and ignorance? They're all in the same boat. They get the same consequences: failure. But guess, you know the funniest thing? The one that feels the pain the most is the one that procrastinates. The one that is ignorant does not know, is not aware of the consequences anyways. So, there's an adage that says, what you don't know can kill you, isn't it? I think it's an African adage or something, right? But there's also those that do the wrong thing, making efforts, putting efforts. But the most painful people, because when you're distracted and you do the wrong thing, guys, you can learn from your mistakes, isn't it? You can learn from your mistake. Everyone has been distracted before. You did something that you got wrong, and you're able to reminisce back and have that reflection and said, I cannot do it the right way. But with procrastination, you would never get any feedback because you never did anything. But guess what? You bear that pain. The regret of inaction. That's it. That's for those that procrastinate. The regret of I should have done this. I should have done this. I didn't know I should have done this. Those are the languages of a procrastinator. Are you with me this evening? Now, very important, because we're flying this evening. Counting the costs. Because I've spoken about postponements, right? Strategic delay, procrastination, delay, right? Counting the costs in terms of strategic planning and forecasting. That's what you're doing, postponements. But there is another school of thoughts of people that count the costs, but they not get involved in analysis paralysis. And I'm going somewhere, listen attentively. So there is you counting in costs, you sitting down to say, Coach Ayo, this is what we're doing as a brand in the next 1 month. I'm planning, I'm forecasting. We need 10,000 pounds. For example, we're planning for SPM 3.0. You cannot tell me I'm procrastinating on SPM 3.0 because the due date is November 2026, right? So, that's a date. That's not even in the class of procrastination because it's strategic planning that fits into you counting the costs. You're planning, you're forecasting, like somebody, like a young person, like Tommy C on the call, like peace. Oh, I want to, register my business. I want to travel out for my master's degree. You're planning, you're checking for schools, you're checking for the requirements, right? That's the school of thought. You're counting in costs. But behind that is where people slip into procrastination, when they move from, you've gotten enough information to take that first step, right? But instead of you to take that first step, you want to see the full picture of everything, and you get caught up with analysis paralysis. Are we getting the point here this evening? Really important. Because at the backside of procrastination is people that they are caught up in their head. Like I said, they know. Thinking people. And let me tell you, a doer will always outsmart and outdo a doer. Listen to me carefully. A thinker will not do as much as a doer. So a doer, someone that does something, that takes an action, will always get a better result than a thinker, someone that's caught up in their head. Think about it. There are many things that you've wanted to do, but it's just caught up in your head. Oh, I'm going to travel out. It's in your head. You've even imagined it. You even watch movies about it. You even research about it. You check your Instagram stories about it. But you're different from somebody that's actually entered that plane and traveled. The quality of the life experiences, the quality of fulfillment you can derive from doing cannot be measured to the quality of return you get on just thinking alone. Are you getting the point now this evening, guys? This is it. Many people are caught up in their head. They are caught up in that internal resistance, always thinking, but never or scarcely doing. So I'm going to ask you a question this evening. What's one thing that you know you should have started earlier on this year? Think about it, guys. This is 28th of May. Before you know it, May is gone. We're entering June. After June, we have entered the second half of the year. That's how the years goes by. Before you know it, it's 2027. And I know that for everyone on this live stream this evening, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, there are goals you set for yourself in January and February. But think about it. Just take a moment to pause. Am I achieving those goals? Have I taken the first step? Have I taken strategic step towards achieving this result? Or am I just thinking about it? Am I just acting? Am I just planning without necessarily having any clear strategy for success? Get the point now. Really important for us to think about these things. Really important. The minor daily decisions ultimately determine major distance destination. I read that book. I read it in TDJ's books many years ago. He said you must know how to connect the dots between your daily decisions and your distant destination. What's he saying? You want to get somewhere in life in the next 5-10 years. You don't just sleep and wake up and stumble into that future, into that day. How great your future will become is dependent on your daily goals, actions to take daily, every day, every 24 hours is what contributes to become a week. A week becomes a month becomes a year. Years become decades. Decades become centuries. Centuries become ages. Guys, are you getting the point now? Can I see your comments? Can I see your comments? Yes. Think about these things, guys. What did the delay cost you? For every decision you failed to implement, there is always a cost attached to it. They call it, opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, opportunity forgone in economics. Let me tell you guys, many years ago, back home in Nigeria, Lagos, you've heard my story. I was not the only one that had the intention to travel out. A lot of young people that time, my friend, my colleague, they had the desire but they procrastinated. I don't want to go into all those stories. Or where are they today? Not just because they did not desire to, but times have changed. Times have changed. There's a law in physics that says all things being equal, and I've been using that for my mentees. That just think about this. This is a principle that I use. I've been using for myself, and I want to teach you this now. In physics, called all things being equal, that a law will remain constant if everything is equal. That means based on everything being equal, right? Many laws hinge on all things being equal. But in our world today, all things are not equal. Things change based on governmental policies now, immigration policies. There's the AI revolution. There is even your physical strength. There are things you can do when you're 20, you can't do when you're 40. So definitely, in terms of your life quotient, there will be many variables. You don't really have so many absoluteness or constant factors in life. Most things in life are varied. Like a pendulum, the swing. For example, with the immigration conversation happening globally in today's world, in the US, in the UK, in Canada, it's a cycle. There's a point in time it will relapse again. A new opportunity arises. You must be able to make use of time. The Bible says, redeeming time, for the days are evil. We're in evil days now, guys. You know what is happening all over in UK. Look at the conversation. When you listen to the news, the parliament, and you think about it, guys. Let's think about it. That can I really bank or put my destiny in the hands of these people? Because sometimes when I watch the news and I watch the brief and all of the conversations, these guys are just laughing. They're having arguments, reply me, I reply you back, and all of that. Meanwhile, there are several millions of people, over 65 million people, that those decisions are hinged on them. And they're chatting and gisting because they go monthly to the bank with fat checks. But what about you, my audience, this evening? Where do you belong? Are you building your life based on those governmental policies? There's the AI conversation, AI revolution. For many of us, that we've been built up with traditional skills and knowledge, traditional education. I've got a degree. I've got a master's degree, MBA, MSc, PhD, BSc. Now, many of the things you spend 5 hours doing, a simple prompt on Claude or ChatGPT can do them. What is your lot in the next 5-10 years? There's the immigration conversation. There's the governmental in global inflation. Global inflation. Things are expensive everywhere. In the US, gasoline is expensive. In the UK, things are expensive. IGR, internal generated revenue, is really, really low. Spending more on benefits. A country that is called a developed world, right, that spends more on benefit than is income, that's bound for failure. To think, oh, UK is also struggling. What about African countries? Nigeria, Congo, and yes, some of the things on the news, right? Where do you belong? How much can you still delay those goals you want to achieve? Are you telling me that your goal of going for a master's degree in the next 5 years will still be valid with how AI is going? Do you see where we're going to now? What I'm telling you in essence is that, think about it. The major essence of this session is that for those things you already know you want to do, you better get back to your drawing board and take that first action. I was reflecting just before I came for the live session that I know many of us try to shift our goals just because we don't want to be under that pressure. Let me tell you, as young people, you need a measure of healthy pressure to achieve anything in life. Nothing will come on a platter of gold. Nothing will come on a platter of gold. There is no item in today's world that will not come with a measure of sacrifice. That's it, guys. Take it from me. So you better start. Let me tell you, those days when I was growing up back home, I saw daddy and mommy really stretch. And thinking about not that they could not live a comfortable life then, but many of the things they did were futuristic. For example, the education, for example, the building, the properties, right? Because they knew that there will be a time that things would change. Business scope in Nigeria has changed now. There were many people that were their co-equals then that had the opportunity, but because they didn't want to stretch to be under pressure, they ate everything they had with with their 5 fingers. And today, many of them, not to shame anybody, but for us to learn from it. Some of them are still tenants. Imagine you're in your 50s and your 60s in a country like Nigeria, and you're still a victim of landlord issues and housing issues. How can you even start talking about purpose? As a 60 years old, you stay a tenant. I'm not saying that is a dead end. I'm just saying is when you see that kind of pattern, trace back to the back end that there was an opportunity that the person did not take. The person procrastinated on an opportunity. Think about it, guys. Listen to me carefully. God will always give everybody opportunity. The Bible says time and chance opponent to them all. There will always be a chance for you in today's world. The question is, will you procrastinate when those opportunities come? Really important. Really important. And that's the strategy I've been using. All things will not be equal. What for the life I want to live in the next 5-10 years, right? What do I need in the next 10 years? Can I start making serious investments towards that? Now, for example, for many of you that are my cohorts in the UK, one of the things we have been focusing on is to get everyone to have their driving license. I can think, oh, how does that relate to personal development? Yes, it relates, because your life is measured by time, the amount of time you have. If, for example, you're going to work and you spend 3 hours in transit, jumping train, 3 hours times 1 week, times 1 month, times 1 year, times 5-10 years, maybe working in that sector. How many times have you lost just in transit? Meanwhile, with an automobile, with a car, you can redeem that time, you can use for other things. Do you see how it relates? Be so time conscious. And I told you at the masterclass at SPM 2.0 that many people, they have this mindset of money, but in today's world, you can't get anywhere if you value money over time. You must value time over money. It looks like a cliche that, oh, what, you don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, money is really important. Let me tell you guys, settle down. These guys pay you to take care of time. Many of you, and I've told my cohorts before, and of course, if you're not in the cohorts, you're missing a lot, especially if you're based in the UK. There's so much thing that's going on. See, let me tell you, the opportunities, the information that will change your life, you think they are far away, they are near you. Most times is a product of familiarity, a lack of discernment. The things we've been doing with the cohorts, for example, and I think one of them is here this evening. She messaged me this morning that she's gotten an interview. This is someone that has not gotten any interview before, and we worked on that, right? So that's it. That's by the way. That's by the way. Your life is measured by time. You must be able to get back more time. That's why they pay you double pay, triple pay for when your time is important. Many of you have time. You have the time, your energy, but you don't own it. The systems own it. The corporate systems owns it. Or you can say, but coach, you work in a corporate organization. Yes, I already have a strategy exits, not procrastination now, postponements. See that? It's a 5 years plan. I'm out of the corporate game. Really important, really true. Nobody is going to do that for you. God has a plan for your life. You'd have heard me say that, but He will not plan for you. He will not put down that thing in paper or in strategy. He has a grand scheme plan for your life. But in terms of the details and all of that, you go as you go across life, being intentional about searching the scriptures, about knowing who you are, identity, vision, purpose. You begin to discover the key plan for your life. Now let's go. We are flying this evening, guys. Procrastination is a margin problem, not an elimination problem. Let me tell you, take it from me. This is the major place I'm getting to this evening. Nobody on earth can totally and absolutely eliminate procrastination. Coach, what are you talking about? Yes. See, you know yourself now. I know myself. There are so many factors that come in play in terms of destiny actualization. Even if you have control over your internal locus of control, there are still many externalities that you don't have control over, that is not dependent on you. I'll give you an example to get what I mean. For example, you're not a late comer. You get to the office early. So you wake up early, right? You shower early, you dress early, or you even maybe pressed your clothes the night before. But suddenly you leave home early, 7 o'clock, to catch the train. If there's a train strike, does that mean you procrastinated? Does that mean you're lazy? Does that mean you're a late comer? No. Is it dependent on you? No. Was there anything you could have done to avert it? No. Or is this traffic? So there are many things that come in play in not achieving our goals, right? Procrastination is not an elimination problem. No. It's about reducing the margin. I can assure you this evening, by the end of this session, there will be things that you know you should do tonight. For example, if you're in the UK, you're listening to me right now, there are things you want to do tonight, but you have gone for an 8 to 8 shift, right? You tell yourself, I will do it tomorrow morning. There's a slim chance, there's a slim line there between procrastination and postponement. By tomorrow morning, if you don't have a clear plan, for example, setting an alarm, putting that in your calendar, that's postponement. But if you just say, I will do it tomorrow morning, of course you will not do it. That's procrastination. Because as a human being, you've gone for an 8 to 8 shift. You are so tired and physically exhausted. And think about it. It will be better for you to sleep this night and wake up tomorrow morning refreshed. As a coach, sometimes I want to read a book. I know I should read a book. But I've gone to work. I'm back. I'm tired. Does that mean even if I have sleeping nights, I should wake up? I know people say that, oh, with sleeping nights, wow. Guys, think about these things. Is it not better for you to have one focused hour of productivity than 3 hours not doing anything, of sleeping and waking up, and you even end up forgetting what you've read? You see, this is a practical. I'm not here to just, this is not, of course, you know that I'm so real. So it's not a matter of just coming to, just talk. I'm talking practical here. That you cannot totally eliminate procrastination. Is a function of margin. So, for example, you're at 80% procrastination. Can you reduce it to 60% by doing what? That's what we're going to get into this evening. You put systems and structures in place. You cannot totally eliminate it. So, dealing with procrastination is more about margin of difference than total elimination. So I used to, for example, because procrastination, ignorance, and distraction, they fit in as addiction. Yeah. And think about, if you're fighting an addiction, you don't fight an addiction from the standpoint of total elimination in the first instance. You start by consistent and progressive improvements. So, for example, if the person is a smoker, no therapist will say, stop smoking today. No, they will say, how many cigarettes do you smoke a day? You take 10 packs. Can you reduce it to 7? You achieve that. Can you reduce it to 5? Because there will be that urge. And many people, in fighting that urge, they'll say they won't take it again. Those are the people you see that relapse. Are you getting the point now? They relapse back because they get to a threshold that they've not grown into. That is what I call excited phase in chemistry, right? There are some elements that go from point A to point C. They skip point B. But by the end of that chemical reaction, they shrink back into their comfort zone. Guys, you should grow out of your comfort zone, not just jump out of your comfort zone. Guys, I'm not your regular personal development coach. You know me, I'm not your regular. I'm not your regular. These are things that the Holy Spirit taught me. You can't find this anywhere in the world. I'm telling you guys, you can't find this anywhere in the world. Because how do I get these topics? I'm meditating, I get inspiration and I do my own studies, and the Holy Spirit just breathes on it. It's like, wow. When I was playing about, I was like, wow, what do you mean that you can't totally eliminate procrastination? Yes, it's true. You are definitely going to procrastinate. But as you become more consistent in reducing that margin, you become better off. So you're at 80%, you move to 60%, 30%. You don't feel that change because you grow into it, not just jump into it. Because those that jump into it string back into the comfort zone, just like a pendulum. It goes up only to come down. And that's where many people find themselves in today's world. They attempt to do things that they've not built the capacity to do. And that is why I mentioned postponement, because they need to postpone certain things, albeit having a strategic plan in terms of the time, the allocation, the consequences and everything, right? And now begin to take the first step. And I always say this: the journey of 1,000 miles does not begin with a step. No, that's the issue. Because you think about it. Coach has advised me now, he's motivated me. I'm taking that first step. You've not even sat down to say, why am I taking this step? What are the rules of engagement? Have I counted my costs? You see, that's strategic delay now, because you're going to move, but you're counting the cost. Jesus Christ said, no man that wants to build a house just goes to start building. He first of all sit down first. It looks like a delay, but it's strategic to count the costs. Because if he starts building and he doesn't finish it, it becomes someone that is termed as foolish. Do you know how many foolish people in today's world? They start off things that they don't have a clear sight of completion. There's a quote I learned many years ago: great men have a mental picture of where they want to get to in their head, but they take the first step first. I know where I want to get to. I've told you guys, I want to be the topmost personal development coach in the next 10 years. That if you're talking about a personal development coach in our world, in Africa, in the UK, in Europe, globally, you're mentioning Coach Ayola. That's where I want to get to. But am I just there writing it in my vision plan? Yes. Have I done that? Cool. Am I procrastinating on taking the first action? No, I've started. This is it. And I'm building that mileage. And I've told many of you that my mentees, right? And of course, I've been emphasizing it because there are many truths that will not come to you on a platter of good, guys. If you want to really change your life, you have to invest in mentorship. That's just the truth. I told my mentees, I said, you're very young now. Start things that you think you want to do in the next 5-10 years. Not because you're going to be expert in it, but because you want to build mileage. In today's world, a 30-year-old doctor that's got 10 years experience is better accredited than someone that is 30 years old as a doctor but has never touched somebody before. So I'll give you an example. You go to the hospital and they tell you, this doctor, he has not got first class. Maybe he came out with a pass, but he's got 10 years experience in doing surgery. This doctor has first class degree but has never done a surgery. Which one would you want to operate you? I want to see that in the comment section. I'm waiting, and I'm gonna wait before I move on. I can't see the response on YouTube. Which person will you want to treat you, guys? Is it a first class doctor but has never done a surgery, or someone that came with a third class, a pass, but has got 10 years experience in the theater as a surgeon? Which one, guys? I want to which one? Yes, Naomi said, this is new. One cannot totally eliminate procrastination. It's a function of margin. Yes, many people are beating up themselves because they failed, not knowing that they've even grown in terms of their margin. Yeah, because they're not keeping track of their progress. Yes, definitely the one with experience. Exactly. Really, Moisa said first class. You mean you're gonna let a first class doctor that has never touched somebody, that has never done a surgery, operate you in the theater? That will be his first practical training, and you know what can happen when somebody is a newbie in any system. Let's continue, guys. That's really interesting. Total elimination of procrastination is unrealistic. What matters is how much delay you allow before action. Yes. How much delay? Now, I'm going to somewhere really, really important. Time versus action matrix. Time versus action metrics. Jesus Christ says something in John 9 verse 4. I must walk the works of him that's called me while it is day. For a time cometh when no man can walk. So he mentioned time there. And there's a time that a man, even if he desires to, even if he's motivated to, he cannot walk. Because there's a time allotted to walk. No wonder the corporate world is 9 to 5. It's standardized everywhere in the world. Even if your productive time is 10, maybe 10 p.m., you're not in the corporate window anymore. Right? And you are gauged and judged by how productive you are within those time period, 9 to 5. So now, the real discipline is not never delay. No, that's not the point. But to reduce the gap between intention and execution. Look at that. Reduce that gap. You're knowing and you're doing gap. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point, guys. Get the point. I want you to get it. Because think about it. There are many things that you already know. Most of my clients, most of my community people are really intellectuals, especially if you've been following me for long. And I see you guys, I see what you do. I engage many of you personally. I'm in your DMs, I see what you put online. But versus the result you produce because you want to is different from you have done. Do you get what I mean now? I met a guy that said, coach, I'm working on this. I'm like, okay, that's really good. I appreciate that. But what is the MVP you have produced out of those things you're doing back end? Minimum viable products. That's it. Do you know that many people, they want to launch a brand and they are spending 3 years in launching a brand? That's not postponement anymore. That's procrastination. Unnecessary delay. What they could have done is to iterate, right? Release your MVP and see if it works in the market system. And if it works, you enhance it, you bring in system and structures. If it doesn't work, you go back in to redesign. That's how it works in today's world. So many procrastinators are ambitious people. They dream big, think deeply, plan extensively, but never take action. Execution is delayed. Execution is delayed. I believe you can't be part of this class this evening and you go back by tomorrow morning, there has not been any positive action you've taken towards your goal. That means what you need is a strong deliverance. Don't let procrastination destroy you. There's an earlier that says procrastination steals time. Now after exercising time, isn't it? Time. There are 3 types of time. There are 3 types of time. We're going somewhere this evening, guys. I need to even fly. Number 1 is preparation. I call it your redeeming time. Preparation. Guys, get this now. Get this now. Number 1, preparation. The second type of time is opportunity. And the third type of time is appointment. Preparation, opportunity, appointment. Repeat after me. Preparation, opportunity, and appointment. To achieve destiny in today's world, you need those 3 things. You need to be prepared. You need to have opportunity. And you need to be rewarded by being appointed. You prepare back end. You bring what you've prepared front end, either as a product, service, or innovation, and you're rewarded. Maybe as a job, contract, a deal, and endorsement. See the point now, guys. These are the things that work. And I'm sure I'm re-engineering your mindset. That's contained in what you call your lifetime is a time for preparation. Contained in what you call your lifetime is a time for opportunity. Contained in this your lifetime is a time for appointment. The question is, Do you even know what season you are? Are you in your preparation season, or are you in your season of opportunity, or are you in your appointed season? We're getting this is the most interesting part of this session this evening. No wonder they call it window of opportunity, because it closes. It can't last forever. Nobody always have the opportunity every day of their life. And that's why for those of you that are on my DM, on my my community, right? I did a video to advertise the webinar, and I sang a song that we used to sing when we were young. Once opportunity is lost, it can never be regained. Do not waste your golden time. The days are going fast. You have a time for preparation. There's a time for opportunity, and there's a time for appointments. You can take a guess at what season I am in now. Like I always say, I'm transiting preparation to opportunity. That's what we've been doing for the past 1 year. And guess what? Because the window of opportunity is so short-lived, it closes fast. So most times, for example, you spend, let's say, the first 20 years of your life preparing. You have the opportunity window for a few years. Maybe it could even be a one-off. That's what they call it, kairos moment. It's usually a one-off. That's your appointed time, right? But that opportunity must have been doing it. And that's what we've been doing. Putting content online, putting my videos on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, because we are creating that window of opportunity. Many people think opportunity is just habitual. No, you can create it. And I've told you that, yes, the Bible says that you'll give to make room for you. Yes, it's contextual truth, not absolute truth, because I've told you again that if your gift has not made room for you, you make room for your gifts. Ayo, if your gift has not made room for you, Ayo is going to make room for his gift. Are you making room for your gift, or are you waiting for your gift to make room for you? Oh, God will do it for me. That's been a problem of the African continent that's spiraling now also to other parts of the world. That God dependency, yes, in terms of surrender, in terms of trust, but in terms of action, God is not going to help you do what you have to do. No, He's never going to do that. The God I know is not going to help you do what you should do. He said, write the vision. He's giving you the vision, but you have to write it down. You have to write it down. So we have 3 times of time: preparation time, opportune time, and appointed time. Your diligence and seriousness in preparation is what ushers you into your opportune time, a function of your knowledge, knowing Ecclesiastes 9 verse 11, the race is not to the swift, not the battle to the strong, and all of that, but said time and chance happening to them all. Diligence. So someone can say, time and chance happening to them all, I'm not going to do anything. What? He said, the race is not to the swift. That means you must be swift. You see that? Because someone can be saying, well, I don't need to be swift anymore. No, you must be in that race to be swift. Albeit is not dependent on that, but it's a requirement. The issue with a lot of us is that the things that are requirements, we are taking it as an exemption. So, for example, someone is bragging, someone thinks that he has a better place in destiny because he's got a PhD degree. That was then. In today's world, when you have a PhD degree, is not necessarily an advantage in today's world. It's only a requirement. Think about it. You've got a bachelor's degree. Is it bad? No. Is it good? Yes. Does that give you added advantage? It's contextual. In today's world with the AI conversation, it's not a requirement because everybody has it. Think about it. Anything that everybody has is not an advantage. It becomes the barest minimum. You get the point now? So think about this. Everything that everybody has is you cannot say you have advantage over them. It's only a requirement. You fit into the status quo. You must have something else better to be called an advantage. So now I'm giving this for those as students among here. Yes, be diligent in your studies and academics, but in today's world, it doesn't necessarily give an advantage. And it's good for you to know this truth so that you know how to begin to position yourself in other mechanism for the advantage. And I'm flying here. I think I have it here. Yes. Academic education and practical internship are the best window of opportunity anybody can have, any young person can have. Your opportune time is a window. No wonder it is called the window of opportunity, because it can close. Academic education on one, but internship. Now, this is a code I'm giving you. If you are in university, if you are studying, start thinking about internship, industrial attachments. That's when you gain practical knowledge to be able to start experimenting. Because yes, academic education helps your knowledge base, but I said many people, they know so much but do too little. Now, because academic education does not give you room for execution. How many of you have been to the laboratory to experiment? You're a science student. How many times have you gone to the laboratory to experiment, to discover something? How can you discover something that will change your world when you've never been to the laboratory? But with an internship, you have the opportunity to be in a company that's producing. You get the point now. This is mainly for students. Together with your academic education, add internship, add practical experience, reward experience. And that's why I'm so happy for many of my staff members that are young. Some of them are in education, right? And it's just interesting because the things that they are learning, their counterparts in the academic world, before they learn it, it will take them 5-10 years again. Problem solving skills, stakeholder analysis, team building, collaboration. These are things that you have to learn for 5 years, but you're learning it as a student by doing an internship, by getting a job on the side. Does that come with pressure? Yes, you will not have time to gallivant like a other colleague, but you're learning the things that will give you an advantage, an edge over others. Because suddenly you graduate from the university and you just know what to do. You know how to find a way around things in the office. You're not just like a newbie and a novice. Let me tell you, nobody likes, or generally in our world today, people don't like a newcomer or a newbie. Take this from me. Think about this. Think about this. For many of you that are so young and naive, and you're thinking that you just walk through life being young and naive, nobody, or generally the system of this world does not like those that are young and naive. They like those that experience and knows their onions and knows what they are doing, because you bring that advantage. Imagine I'm your manager and you come into my company and I have to literally babysit and spoon feed you on basic things. I won't like to be around your space because you hinder my own productivity. But imagine you can come into the organization and you can find a way around things with less support. Would I not want to have you around? That's it, guys. Are we getting the point now this evening? I want to see the comment flying in. This is a very crucial conversation. As you grow through opportune time, then suddenly you hit your appointed time, your kairos moment, that specific time, right? It could be meeting a destiny helper. One day you're just all around creating that window of opportunity. You're being fervent, you're being zealous, you're being diligent, and somebody just says, "Oh, I've been watching you." That's what they usually say, "I've been watching you." You don't know how long they've been watching you. It could have taken 5 years, you could have taken 2 years, you could have taken 2 months, but you could have, that's the window of opportunity you have created for yourself. And suddenly they make that decision to employ you, to reward you, to endorse you. For example, a new policy favors you. That's reward there. And a scripture that is going to really help you. And many of you quote it, right? But you've not seen the wisdom in that. Psalm 102 verse 13. Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her has come. Yea, the set time has come. What did he say? Thou shalt arise. Preparation. Blessing. I can see a blessing on the call this evening. I can see Moisa. I can see Grace, I can see Festus, I can see Moisa, I can see Naomi. The question I have for you this evening is, are you arising? Are you rising? Are you preparing? Or are you just sitting and being laid back? You quote that scripture, you recite it, you even pray with it, but it's saying, thou shalt arise. It's an instruction there for you to prepare. Look at this. He said, thou shalt arise. It's an instruction, it's a commandment. But guess what? Many people read that scripture, but they are sitting down in terms of their actions, not doing anything. They are praying for favor because where they're getting to is favor, time for favor, isn't it? But he's saying that you must first arise first. Preparation. You can never get to the appointed time without preparing. Look at that. Thou shalt arise. Ayo shall arise and prepare. It is good that a young man bears his yoke in his youth. He has arisen. He said, arise and shine, for your light is come. Many people want their light to come, but they are not arising. Are you arising? Are you taking those actions? Are you stretching? This is what I've been doing for the past 5 years. Just stretching. Many people are there because when you sit down, you're comfortable. That's comfort zone. At this age of your life, you're 25, you're 30, you're 35, you're sitting down doing nothing. That's the ground for poverty of life experiences and resources in the next 5-10 years. Doing nothing. Sitting down. Bible says, woe to them that is in Zion, because once you're at ease, you're in comfort zone, you're relaxed. But it said, woe unto them, that's evil be unto them. Look at that. Are you getting the point now this evening? Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion. So thou shalt arise, preparation, and have mercy upon Zion for the time to favor her. Opportune time. That's the allotted time. Yea, the set time, appointed time is come. That set time is what many people are looking for. When will my destiny helper meet me? When will I get that big breakthrough? Big breakthrough is a combination of many small wins. That's it. The big breakthroughs is a summation of many little insignificant wins. You don't get to see the consequences of your actions or your inactions in time. Most times, it's after time. And I told you that, remember I told you that you don't have control over time. You can only trade with it. You can only make use of it. It's a finite space, so it goes just like the air, isn't it? You don't get to see the consequences of your action or inaction. So most times now, someone that is 25 does not know the consequence of his inaction when he's 25. Most times he will experience it, he will have the reality of it when he's 50. And that's why you see a lot of old people in today's world and they are filled with pain and regrets, because if they had known that this action I was taking when I was 20 will lead me to this point when I'm 50 or 60, will they not make better decisions? They will. But most times there's a delusion of consequence in our world today. Most consequences happen after time. If they told you that this lady or this guy has got, for example, HIV or something, will you be involved in sexual immorality? No, but because you don't know. It's after, for example, you begin to have symptoms, or after you find out the truth, then you're like, oh, I'm gonna get back time. No. And someone can be there arguing and say, but I've read it in my Bible, in the book of Joel, that he will restore the years. Yes, it's true. God is a restorer, but that is an act of miracle, not principles. And in today's world, our world is governed by principles, not miracles. No wonder miracles, like how many of us want to see it, don't really happen, because it's principle first before miracles. Because what was the dispensation of miracle? When they were going from Egypt all through to the promised land, miracles, the manna, The clothes did not get spoiled and all of that. But once they got to Canaan, once they got to the promised land, they said, now you have to till the soil now. Principle, law of sowing and reaping. So many laws regulate this world. Principles, not just miracles. Yes, you will get miracles, but as an everyday thing, no. Bible says something in the book of John 2 that the angel stirs the water yearly. You can be asking, why can't he stir it daily now? You're not God. God knows better than you. That's how he has formed the world. There will be that occasional opportunity. The question is, are you prepared? Or are you like that man that was there for 38 years? Because think about it. You know that this angel comes yearly. He said, while I'm going to the water. No. Where should you be? You should be in the water. God spent 2 years to get to the water. Look at this, guys. And you can think, oh, this is a cliche. But this is how many of us live. He was there for 38 years. He's saying the excuse he has is, I have no man because while I am going, why can't you go before the angel came? Why are you going when the angel has come? When the opportunity has passed, and that's when you're taking the action. Now, many people are trying to travel out. They had the opportunity 5 years ago to travel out on a platter of gold. Now, travel out of Nigeria, you're spending over 40 million naira. Last 5 years, last 7 years when I came, with 5 million naira, you're out of the country. With a better opportunity for survival. Now you come to UK, US, Canada. It's as even worse as you should not even travel out because you don't get a job. You struggle for everything because there's so much supply than demand in most of these economies now. So it's difficult, but there was a window. Like that man at the pool of Bethsaida. They wait for when things are passed. You must be able to think ahead of time. Redeem time, for the days are evil. Guys, I just hope you're getting this. For many of you, and I know for some of my mentees, I was telling you about that business. Write it down. Register the business. Do this. I'm saying it. But sometimes people delay. It's after time. Oh, I should have done this had I known. I told myself, right, I may not be able to achieve everything I want to achieve in life, but I don't want to have so much regrets. Like I said, it's not about elimination. There will be some regrets in life, like, oh, I should have done this better. But reduce the margin. Don't be that even for big survival and thriving, you're regretting. Let it be that in terms of your destiny actualization, you didn't achieve the full scope. Not that you didn't even scratch the surface. For every great person that died, for example, let's say Dr. Miles Moron that died many years ago, I'm still sure he had some books that he wanted to write, isn't it? But think about the number of books he's written. Will you say he's regretting? No. Yes, a measure of, regret that, oh, I should have written this. But is it as much as someone that never wrote a book? No, the person will have more pain and regret of inaction. And that's why I told you, it's not just about elimination, but reducing the margin, guys. And I think that's a better standpoint to come from, not just about elimination. Because people, like I said, relapse. So if, for example, you hear this kind of preaching from me, and I say, you have to quit procrastination, and you start feeling guilty, you start working, living your life on eggshells. No. But think about it. I'm in control of my life. Oh, I set 5 goals today. I'm able to achieve 3. Oh, that's a good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Next day, can I achieve 4? And that's how you go. Consistent improvements and iteration, not just total elimination. First Chronicles 12 verse 32 says something. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of times. Oh, God of heaven. To know what Israel ought to do. Look at that. And look at the reward there. The heads of them were 200, and all their burden were their commandments. So what is the Bible saying? That there were certain people, all of us were gathered together. But among the multitude, there were a few selected people that had the understanding of what was happening around them. They could read the times and seasons, bring it to our context with this word. Can you read? I am telling most of you guys There are three indicators in today's world that you should start viewing life from: the AI revolution, immigration policies, and global inflation. And you can even add religion, because things will change in the next 5, 10 years. So begin to start thinking about this and position yourself for up to date and current knowledge. Many of you, what you have is pseudo knowledge or outdated knowledge of the laws of today's world. Things are changing. You're not updated. Yes, you have knowledge, but it's outdated. Guys, update your knowledge base. Oh, look at what I'm sharing this evening. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Update your knowledge bank. And I told you, 1 Corinthians 8 verse 2, if any man thinks he knows, let him know that he doesn't know as he ought to know. There's what they call the knowing only syndrome. Knowing only. I've forgotten that place in the Bible. I think one of the guys, one of the prophets, that he knew only the doctrine of John the Baptist. There were other doctrines, but he knew only. And this guy was preaching. I think in the book of Acts, he was preaching with force. The only question was that he knew only. There were other things. And most times it's the other things, the other information that we don't know. That is where the key to success is. And that is why Coach Avoola will always be reading books. Not because I like to read books, but because I'm searching for the information that changes life. Guys, don't trade with information. Don't play with information in today's world. Because if you knew much, right? First of all, knowledge will put you under pressure to perform and execute. Like I told you, one of the reasons why people don't execute is because they don't know much. If you knew much, you execute. Think about it. I'm buying books. I'm paying for courses. I have great mentors. Because I know much, I'm able to do much. So one of the acts of overcoming procrastination is to invest in your knowledge bank and base. Because that knowledge will put you under pressure. And that is what a young person needs, a measure of healthy pressure. That I should be doing this. I'm better than this. That constant pressure. Like I said, healthy pressure. So the children of Issachar, they had the understanding of times. They prepared themselves ahead. They knew what they ought to do. And they became the leaders. That's what Prime Council is about. Guiding the next generation of leaders. If you want to be a leader, you must have understanding of times. Like I said, the global inflation, immigration policies over the world, AI revolution, and if possible, religion. These are the things, the rules of engagement in today's world. Now, look at something really important, because there's the story of Jesus Christ, right? You can say, but did Jesus Christ procrastinate? Did he postpone? The story of Jesus Christ and Lazarus. He was called to come and heal Lazarus, that he was sick. And the Bible said he delayed for 4 days, isn't it? So the question is, did he procrastinate? Guys, answer me. I want you to answer me. Did Jesus Christ procrastinate or postpone going to Lazarus' house? I want you to answer me. Oh, this is an interesting session this evening. Very interesting. I want to see the response. Did Jesus Christ procrastinate or postpone going to Lazarus' house? Yes. Can I see the answers? Yes. At face value, it looked like procrastination, but it was not procrastination. Why? Because his delay had three unique properties. Now, we're flying this evening. Number one, Jesus Christ is all-knowing. He's omniscient. He had a perfect foresight of what will happen. So, he's omniscient. Right? Omniscience. He knew the end from the beginning. Number two, it was an intentional delay, not avoidance. Remember, procrastination is avoidance. His was an intentional delay. The delay was to serve a purpose, not emotional resistance. No, he could have gone there. He wanted it to be that Lazarus was dead and buried Because there was a time he healed the widow of Cain's son, and people said, oh, maybe he was sleeping, maybe he didn't really die. So this time he delayed, he took his time intentionally. So does that sound like postponement? Yes. Strategic delay. Do you see that now? And the third one is he had veto power over the consequences. I'm getting somewhere with all these things I'm sharing. I'm not just sharing it for to share Bible knowledge only. He had veto power over the consequences. He could reverse death itself. Because after the consequences, which is death, he was already rotting in the grave. He had the power to revive Lazarus. But the question is that, do you have all these characteristics as a human being that you are? No, you don't. I know the Bible has told you that ye are gods and the children of the Most High God. Yes, it's contextual now. It's not absolute. You are not a god. Gods don't die, but humans die. God is omnipotent, all power, omniscience. You see that? So when he speaks about you being a god, it is in terms of specific attributes. For example, love, character, not in terms of those distinct attributes. Omnipotent, omniscience, omnipresent. You're not always everywhere. Because you cannot thinking, oh, I'm in the God class. I can do anything I want to do when I'm ready. That's Jesus Christ. You're not Jesus Christ. With Jesus Christ, there was no permanent regret of inaction to deal with because he had the veto power to reverse the consequences. With you as a human being, most times you can't reverse the consequences of inaction or any action you've taken in the wrong direction. You only bear it. You only live with it. But with Jesus Christ, he was able to. And sometimes, now, occasionally, God gives that veto power. For example, we've had people that have been raised back from the dead, isn't it? But think about it. Even the greatest pastors of all, is it every dead body they pray for that gets back to life? No, because it's an act of miracle. It's not a principle. What's the principle? Once someone has stopped breathing, person dies. You see what I'm talking about now? As human beings, there are many laws that come in play. There's the law of sowing and reaping, seed time and harvest. There's the law of cause and effects. The law of cause and effect always catch up with us. So now, as a human being, you have control over your choice only. You can decide. Say something. I've given you the power to choose. He didn't give you the power over the consequences. He gave you the power of choice. If you're a smart human being, you will make use of your choice wisely to be able to determine and manipulate the outcome or the consequence. If you make good choices, you will get good outcome. If you make bad choices, you get negative consequences. So why is procrastination dangerous now? Really important. It's dangerous not just because of the delay component of it, but because you cannot control the downstream effects once delay has crossed the threshold. Think about it. If you're a swimmer, you can hold your breath, isn't it? Breath training. That means I can hold my breath. I can try not to breathe. But for how long? Not perpetually. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes, the person is gone. That's what I'm talking about. Really important. That's procrastination. Are we getting the point now this evening? You cannot control the effects. You can only iterate and alter the cause, not the effects it produces, not the consequences, not the outcome. You can only work on the choices. As we begin to conclude this evening, how do I overcome procrastination? I'm going to give you practical steps now. Remember, let me tell you, we rise in life by revelation, by quality information. I'm not here to give you tea and bread. Nobody's going to help you do it. But remember that you're the first beneficiary of your transformation. And you're also the first victim of the consequences of your inaction. If you decide, implement it. If you don't decide, if you don't implement it, you'll be the first beneficiary of either the inaction or the action. But I believe that this will help you. Number one, how do you overcome procrastination? How do I overcome procrastination? How do I reduce that margin of procrastinating? Start using decision windows instead of long to-do lists. Many of you write long to-do lists. I want to do this. No. Start using decision windows. So for example, you say from 9 o'clock to 9:45, outline it. Something you want to do, a presentation. Once it is 9 o'clock, you don't start deciding. You just get into it. Because now you have a long to-do list, right? I'm going to do this tomorrow. You wake up tomorrow. You're not deciding, what do I do? What do I not do? As you start negotiating, what happened? Start shrinking back. You start negotiating, oh, let me just do it later. But once you use a decision window, you know that this window is function of time. Once it has lapsed, you have failed. So now what do you have to do? You now have to go and retrace back and have a strategy. That's postponement now. You can say, okay, this time I'm holding myself accountable. I'm postponing this, even though I failed at this. So this time, what are the systems in place to make sure I don't procrastinate? So for example, you want to read a book tonight. You ended up sleeping. Don't kill yourself for that. No, tomorrow morning, wake up in the morning, right? If you want to read in the night, set an alarm. That's a system there. And once it's that time, don't say, oh, this is what I'm doing. Decision window. Once that window has started, no decision left to make. The work has to be done. You have to bring yourself to a high level of accountability. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Balogun. She said, no point making a long to-do list and achieving 50%. Target 3 things and fulfill 100% within practical allotted time. Very profound. Thank you, ma'am. Number 2, reduce the starting costs of an action. Really? But this is a life hack. Reduce the starting cost of an action, because one of the reasons why many people are stuck in analysis paralysis, especially for those that are ambitious. Like I said, many of the people on this call, especially on this call this evening, you're ambitious. You want to really grow. You know that I've been delaying, I've been postponing, I've been giving excuses. So it's not a question of you not wanting to do it. It's a question of when you now want to do it, the weight of that initial start feels so heavy. You're like, oh, let me do it tomorrow. Instead of telling yourself, complete the project today, no. Tell yourself, I'm going to open a document and write a paragraph. Honestly. I'm going to do what? Sketch 3 ideas, like how Mrs. Modupe said. I'm going to have 3 things. Starting small removes the resistance, and once momentum has started, work usually continues. So for example, I'm going to read for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Once you've planned, that's what you want to do. It looks achievable, isn't it? Guess what? Most people, once they start reading for 3 minutes, once they've hit that mark, they end up reading for 1 hour. Can you bear witness to that for those on this call this evening? You want to do something that, oh, let me just maybe sweep the house. You end up sweeping everywhere because the starting costs seemed achievable. So you're able to provide yourself with that internal motivation that this is achievable. Many of you are attempting to achieve things that are so big. I'm not saying don't achieve big things, but make the starting cost. Remember, I didn't say the full cost. The starting, what it takes to start. Let it be small. Yeah, really important. The third one is introduce public accountability. Yes, it's really true. Many people don't want to be accountable. And I know it's a cliche like, oh, me, myself, and I lifestyle in today's world, but guess what? Great people you see performing as premium productivity have systems in place. Sometimes human systems, most times. So for example, the president has got advisors, they've got PAs. I've got a PA, I've got a virtual analyst. Virtual assistant, that keeps me accountable. I've got mentors that keeps me accountable. I've got mentees that keeps me accountable because I have to update my knowledge bank. You need a measure of healthy pressure because you don't want anybody to gaze into what you're doing, to scrutinize you, to positively criticize you and give you constructive feedback. You end up not opening yourself for accountability. But you need to be held accountable in today's world. God, in creating the world, said, "Let us." Look at that. He said, "Let us." God said, "Let us reason together." He was speaking to man. Let us reason together. With the Godhead, when we were creating heaven in Genesis 1, say, "Let us," accountable. Jesus Christ said, "I can of my own self do nothing." You must be accountable. When no one knows what you're working on, it is easy to delay it. But when people expect results from you, right, your behavior changes. There's a sense of internal urgency and healthy pressure that you need to achieve your goals. Because as a norm, the normal man being is normally like a lackadaisical and laid back and likes the comfort zone. The normal man nature likes to be comforted. But you need that external pressure. Like Newton's third law says, a body continues in a state of rest until there's an external force. Yeah, that's Newton's third law. A body continues in that state of rest, in perfect equilibrium, until there's an external force that comes to alter that state. And that's when there's movement. That's when there's progress. That's when there's advancement. Do you get the point now, guys? There's a measure of external pressure, healthy pressure you need. You must be held accountable. So I'm asking, do you have a mentor? That this is what I'm working with. I'm working on. For those are my mentees, I do those check-ins. You don't have to learn. I do it. So many of you see that sometimes you're like, "Oh, Coach Avoola is calling me. Why is he calling?" No, because I want to hold you accountable to those things you've said you will do. So it's not about me saying do this. No, you say you're going to do this. I'm calling you. Are you doing them? Where have you gotten to? Guess what? After those calls, even if you have not started doing them, you become sort of pressured, isn't it? You're like, "Oh, I don't want to disappoint Coach." The next time you start getting on it, that's how life is. And before you know it, you achieve results because you are held accountable. So you see me sometimes say something like, "Oh, I'm writing a book," because I want it to be that I don't end up shrinking that book. There's an expectation that my audience, my community is expecting the book soon. And I have that healthy pressure to deliver. Yes, Blessing is asking a question. How does one do this? Public accountability. Does it mean I have to share within my circle? Two school of thought here. Absolute truths and contextual truths. This fits into contextual truths. Because you can say, "Oh, absolute truth. I'm going to go share everything about me because Coach Avoola said it." Yes, I said it is a truth, but is it absolute? No, it's contextual, depending on the sensitivity of what is to be shared. There's certain information that should not be shared to certain groups of people. Discretion. Jesus Christ had the multitude. He had the disciples. In the disciples, he had the 90. He had the 12. He had the 3, and he had the 1. But albeit there must be somebody that you're able to share your visions with. You're able to share your plans with. That's the rules of the game in today's world. It will be so difficult. The Bible said it is not good for a man to be alone. You can say, "I don't have anybody to." That in itself is a fundamental issue. Not having any man, not having anyone is a fundamental, issue, psychological issue, or should I say emotional issue that needs to be dealt with. Because we have over 7, and I was speaking to somebody, and they said, "Oh, in the church, I've not found anybody I like," and I'm like, "Wow, this is a church of over 1,000 people." Yeah, it can seem true saying that, but think about it contextually now, not absolute. Maybe there's something that you should work on inside of you. Not about the 1,000 people. So, Blessing that is asking, you don't have to, is dependent on the context involved. how sensitive it is. There's certain things that you want to do that you may want to just hold back and share with maybe a much more inner circle. For example, maybe your parents, your family, your spouse. You can't say in trying to be discreet, for example, if you're married and you hide certain vital goals and projects from your spouse, all in the name of being discreet. At that time, you will lose trust. You will lose trust. Because when the other person finds out, that will be a breach of trust, isn't it? And confidence, right? But there's some things that's confidential in the context of marriage. I don't believe so. I think there should be that openness and fairness, right? But relating with maybe your friends, some things should be held confidential, contextual. But some things are okay to be shared. There are some things that can be shared publicly, right? So depending on the stakes involved and the sensitivity of the information. And that's what I've said. I've always said it that share your stories online, but remove the drama, stigma out of it. Remove the drama, the stigma, and the trauma part of it. Oh, do you know, for example, a lady says, do you know I went through rape? And I'm here to share my story. Because Coach Avoola have said I have to become publicly accountable. Oh, Coach Avoola did not use that context. You get what I mean? A blessing. Thank you very much. The fourth point is create a daily distraction. Free power hour. Every day. Have moments, hours. 1 or 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, whereby you're locking. I don't believe in people having airplane mode. I believe in you being accessible for opportunities, especially if you are looking for opportunities. Imagine seeking for a job and you've been on an airplane mode, like as a lifestyle. I'm not saying as a one-off, maybe you're traveling or moments, right? Like locking in to study, to research. But as a lifestyle, always on D&D, and I know some people are like that. If you're like that, change your ways. You must be accessible. You must be accessible, right? For opportunities. I'm not going to work with someone that cannot reach. That's it. I'm not going to work with someone that cannot easily access, right? But there are some moments where you need to lock in, away from the noise, away from distraction, to just focus. Lock in those hours. Some it could be 1 hour. Let me tell you guys, and you know this for yourself. Do you know if you spend 1 hour doing something and putting all your mind and focusing, do you know you achieve great things? Do you know if you spend only 1 hour a day working on something towards your goals and vision, will you say you didn't have a productive day? No. And that's what I've said. It's not so much about all this, just hustling. Just no strategy. Sometimes just 2 hours a day, locking in, and that whole day has been productive because you were able to focus. So create a daily distraction power hour. That 3 hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, lock in. For example, I'm a night person. I was up to 3:30 a.m. So you will see me throughout the day. I think I went to play football. I slept, went to work, did many things. But my lock-in hour was from, I think, 12 or something. 3 hours. And you see me here discharging fire. It's like, oh, coach. That's what it takes. So I planned for it. I didn't procrastinate because I knew that I'm a night person. I can function at that time. You are not a night person. You're not saying you read at night. That's procrastination. That's you giving people procrastinate. You obviously procrastinate. So create that power hour in the morning, in the afternoon, during the daytime. We're about rounding up, guys. The fifth one. Stop working based on mood. Start working based on identity. Wow. This is one of the most powerful shifts. You can't work based on feelings. Like I said, I was tired. I went to play football yesterday. So tired. But I know that Coach Ayo must deliver value in the morning. Active at work. I was in the office this morning. Delivered value to my place of work. I'm here this evening. Imagine I said I'll prepare when I come back from work or when I'm in the office. That will be distraction. I'll be doing the wrong things. I need to be here this evening to share value I've prepared yesterday night. Even I've been preparing before, I just had to nip in everything in, together. So you start working based on identity because people now believe that they can get words of wisdom, of knowledge, of information, of direction from me. I begin to act in that way. That's what is called self-fulfilling prophecy principle. For my mentees, you know it now, right? That I am what I think you think I am. That's the adage. I am what I think you think I am. So if you think that Coach Avoola is really, really great, and I know that you think I'm great, I begin to function as a great person. So that's why there's certain things you can't see me do now, not because I don't want to even do them, but because I know that you think I can't do them, and not just because I'm living for you, but because that is what is called self-fulfilling prophecy principle. You now work based on that identity of who you are. For example, some of the greatest preachers in Africa, in our world today, they can't go to a service not preparing because they know that there's so much demand for their grace. They have to prepare. Is it that they are not tired? Is it that they don't want to just chill? No, they want to chill, but because there's a demand on their potential. What am I saying in essence? Begin to have that mentality and orientation that people will place demand on your potential. Yes. Leaders, great leaders, don't work based on mood. They work based on identity. Cristiano Ronaldo does not. He goes to train almost every day. He's always in training. And even young footballers learn from him. They're like, wow, at 41 years old, his work ethics, that has become an identity, not just based on mood or feelings anymore. The reason why you're procrastinating is because you are still relating based on feelings. But once you get that ingrained in you that you're a great person, you're an excellent person, you begin to act and behave that way. A standpoint of identity. So instead of asking, do I feel like doing this? No, that's low level. Start asking, what will a higher I do? My higher self do? You know, contained in you is a lower you and a higher you. A lower you that shrinks, a higher you that expands and responds to healthy pressure. And there's always that battle between the two. Which one will you rather be? Once you begin to set your identity based on your higher you begin to act that way and you begin to bang in and achieve your goals. Do you have any questions for me this evening? This is it, guys. Stop working based on mood. Start working based on identity. Create a daily distraction-free power hour, or 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours a day, depending on what is to be achieved. Introduce public accountability based on context, depending on the severity or the sensitivity of the information. But albeit still have at least a person, people that you can, divulge sensitive information to without any fear of scrutiny or destructive criticism. Reduce the starting costs. Start little. Imagine I want to have a full setup before I launch the brand. No, we started with nothing. Look at today. We have everything, a full setup. We're hosting masterclasses everywhere. But it started with one webinar that had the Christmas tree, and I was shouting, Jennifer, Jennifer. Thanks to Jennifer, anywhere she is. Look at that. Start. Start using decision windows, guys. Have a slim line between postponement and procrastination. Don't necessarily focus on elimination of it. Start working on reducing the margin. I'm at 80%, like a therapist that is working to remove, break away addiction from a smoker. It's not about elimination, but reduction from 10 packs to 8 to 5 to 3 to 2. Before you know it, he doesn't even have the appetite for it again. Before you know it, you become an efficient and effective person because you have built it as part of your identity. It has become a second nature. Do you have any questions for me this evening? I don't want us to exceed the time. Really, really profound session this evening, guys. Overcoming procrastination. I know many people, start getting that clear insight. They've gotten clear insight. I know that they'll start achieving their goals. They'll start it. This is more than enough information for you to actually move from that person There's that 100% procrastination to 80, to 60, to 40. Remember I said continuous improvement. And Jesus Christ increased. He didn't just multiply. There's the part of multiplication. But multiplication will have no, should I say, old when there's no increase. He increased in wisdom and in stature. He grew. Growth is really key into this world. Many people want to just skyrocket. And I was speaking to one of my mentees, was telling me about, yes, there's a question. I have a question. What would you say to a young person, to a young adult that does not have parental support on some vital life decisions? And this is the way I see it. The context here that I see is young adults. The moment you become an adult, right, that you automatically, remember I said automatically, have the autonomy of your life decisions. Most times, your parents, society will not hand over that autonomy to you. Most times, many people don't know they have the autonomy of making life decisions, right? So because they don't know it, they don't take ownership of it. It's like this handkerchief that is there. If I don't know that I have it, I won't take it. The first point that you should know is that he's already an adult. Awareness of his current reality, that now I'm an adult. And what do adults do? They make decisions. That means you cannot rely on your parents for certain information if they don't have it. Now, what does he have to do? Now that he's aware that he's an adult, now that he's aware of what he doesn't know, he has to be able to outsource it. And there are many platforms like mentorship, self-based learning, YouTube videos, podcasts, self-based learning. But it comes to that standpoint of awareness and willingness. And this is what I do for my younger mentees when I speak to them, right? I don't just end up saying, oh, do this, believe in yourself, vision. I'm like, are you willing? Because I was speaking to my mentee, I said something. You can force the horse to a river. Can you force it to drink water? No. Many of us as parents, as guidance, as mentors, we're trying to force people to become what they don't want to become. But now the flip side is that if you're willing and you're aware, you'll be able to outsource this information through podcasts, self-based learning, or getting a mentor. Think about it. In today's world, there are so many great people that want to help young people. Most times, the young people are not they're not aspiring, they are not reaching out. Because there's the tendency of familiarity and over-familiarity. So content, for example, for that young adult, there will be people around the person, maybe in his school, he has a teacher or something, maybe in his church or any setting in his environment. There are people that can learn from. The issue will not be, is he willing to learn? That's the first point I always work with when I speak to young people. Are you willing? Said if you are willing and obedient, because there's no point in even saying obedience. There's no point in giving you instruction if you're not willing to obey. You have to be willing. So that's the standpoint, right? So outsourcing is really important because, like I said, you can be like she said, young adult. So he can be thinking I'm young, but remember he's already an adult. As at 18 years, as at 19 years, the person can go to jail for his actions. Right? So if the state can judge you based on your actions as 18, that means life will judge you also. So you can begin to take those decisions. One thing I will tell him is that he is the first beneficiary of his actions. Right? So if he says, oh, my parents don't have this, it looks good saying that at 18, but when you're 25, 30, if you say that to anybody, they'll be like, you're not serious. If you're 40 and you're saying, my parents did not do this for me, they'll be like, wow, what was that? Imagine I did say that's my age, right? I'm saying my parents did not do this for me. I can say that maybe in my mind, but if I say that as an excuse for failure, society will not pardon me. There's an expectation for adults. So I think the young person should first of all be willing to become self-aware of the circumstances around them, right? It can now begin to engineer that parental support in a way. Because one of the things I do with my mentor, I'll say, you don't know that you have to convince your parents that they should believe in you. An average parent, especially African parents, they have their way of thinking and you can't blame them. right? But through your actions, think about it. Let's even go there, because I have mentees that are young, that they're a victim of this. You're a young adult, you are 18 to 20, right? You're in the house. You don't, for example, do the domestic activities, maybe tidying up the house, washing plates, cleaning the car or something. And your parents have to constantly chase you, lobby you to do that. Yes, even though they are doing that, in their mind, they are seeing you like a kid, because if you are doing that without any supervision, you're already taking ownership and responsibility. And now you cannot begin to make demands. Once you do that for a period of time, before you know it, they begin to say, oh wow, Victor, this is what I'm thinking about, because they want to relate with you at that level. So it's really important for the young adult to first of all be aware that, well, I'm no more a baby again, I'm no more a child again. I'm an adult. Albeit I'm a young adult, but life is already moving. You're 18 today, before you know it, you're 30 years old. Right? So think about it that, okay, how do I engineer the support of my parents? This is what I did. My parents, they were not the easiest of parents, they were tough. But to be able to achieve my goals, there were things I had to do. Compromises. My daddy told me something many years ago. He said, because I like to do different hairstyles, right? And we'll have those arguments and fight and quarrels, right? And he said, for as long as you're in my house, you will obey what I say. But if you're out of my house, right, you can do what you like. And that was one of the major motivations that I said, no, I must leave this house. I didn't rush it, but that was one of the major motivations that I said, you know what? I must leave this house. And it led to those positive actions. So think about how to engineer that support from your parents. Because there is no child that does the building of his parent that the parent will not support and love. Most times, children nowadays, or should I say young adults nowadays, they don't want to be responsible. They see, the things of life as something that they merit. And I was speaking to even some people close to me. I said, no, this thing is not one, you don't deserve it. It's based on capacity, it's based on favor. In today's world, as a parent, if you don't have money to send a child to school, right, you can only stretch. But imagine the child is saying, oh, you have to send me to school, because you will not be happy as a parent. You'll be like, this child is not even grateful. And that's why I see a lot of young people doing. You must be able to engineer that support, right, by doing the things that are pleasing unto your parents. And as you begin to do that, you have a better stake at the negotiation table to say, for example, daddy and mommy, pay for this mentorship, because they've seen you have a good behavior. But if you are passive in your behavior and you tell me as a parent, pay for mentorship, I'll be like, no, I'm not going to pay for it, because that's going to be a wasted investment. So I just hope that I was been able to answer that question, that the major responsibility is not just on the parent, but on the young adults. Let's begin to shift that responsibility from the parent to the adult, because the adult, the young adult, will be around long enough to either benefit from those positive actions or to live up the consequences. I hope that's answered the question. Any more questions before we go? I think we're out of time now. This has been an interesting session. Yes, we have our next webinar. So we're meeting next Monday for Instagram Live. I think we have it here. Do we have it here? Can the admin share the Instagram Live webinar? Yes. Life lessons with Coach Avoola. Monday, June 1st. Well, that will be on Instagram. You don't want to miss it. That will be, that's more of a step down from you see me in my relaxed mode. I can answer questions, we can have a dialogue and just see where we're at. And also for next month's webinar, of course, I know you've learned a lot this webinar, and we're back again on Thursday, 25th of June, understanding the code of power. Wow. Understanding the codes of power, ethics, etiquette, and language. Remember that, guys, I'm building you guys to become a leader in your world, to become a generational change agent, right? You need to be able to know what power means. the codes of power, ethics. How do you behave around power? What's the language of power? Because if you don't speak the language of power, you're as good as not having power. And the etiquette around power. So see you Thursday, 25th of June, 8 p.m. We're live. But before then, we'll be live on Instagram next Monday on IG Live, speaking on life lessons. I'm going to be sharing deep lessons of, to be honest, God has given me the grace to gain so much experience. Some of them are lived experiences, what I've experienced by myself. But many of them are borrowed experiences, what I've read in books, I've learned from different people, from elders. You don't want to miss it. Life lessons, Monday, 1st of June. If there's no question, thank you very much for joining this month's webinar on overcoming procrastination. I just hope I've been able to do justice to the topic that is not about elimination, but reducing the margin. And I've given you the 5 steps that you can use to reduce those margin and how you can begin to, tick that box between postponement and procrastination. And how, if you don't work on procrastination, ignorance, and distraction, you still end up achieving the same result, and how you can, do away with them as a human being. And I believe in you guys. I believe so much in you. I want you to tag me on Instagram. I want you to tag me on TikTok. Do a screen recording, tag Coach Avoola, tag Prime Counsel, anything you've learned, because that will ensure that we also have the opportunity to reach out to lots of people. I want you to, recommend us to your family, to your loved ones, to your workplace. We're open for speaking engagement, and we'll share all of that across our platform for speaking engagement, for, online webinars, for partnerships and collaboration. See you on Monday. Bye for now.
Growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens when potential is challenged, refined, and given a voice. 1 year ago, Prime Counsel was founded with a clear mission to develop leaders, strengthen confidence, and unlock growth from within. We believe leadership is not about position, but about influence, clarity, and courage. Through public speaking and personal development, we help individuals grow into their capacity, communicate with purpose, and lead with conviction. We are a movement that motivates growth, builds confidence, and turns fear into fuel. This is Prime Counsel, 1 year in, and we are only getting started.
Thank you for watching. We are sure you have been truly empowered and inspired to take the next step forward.
To connect with us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Counsel for our video resources. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Counsel _.
Prime Counsel, guiding next generation leaders.
In January 2025, Prime Counsel officially emerged as an organization, but its story began earlier. What started in 2024 as a simple WhatsApp community became a movement, a growing space committed to transforming the mindset, capacity, and leadership posture of young people. By April 2025, that vision was formally established as Prime Counsel Limited, a UK-based organization with a clear mandate to raise and guide value-driven leaders across every sphere of influence. In January 2025, we hosted our first monthly webinar. By December 2025, we had successfully delivered 12 monthly webinars alongside 3 Instagram Live leadership conversations and 1 dedicated skills training session for our volunteers, equipping both our audience and internal team with tools for growth and execution. Recognizing the need for deeper, personalized transformation, Prime Counsel expanded its offerings in August 2025 with the launch of the Vision Clarity Call and one-on-one mentorship sessions, providing strategic guidance, accountability, and clarity to individuals navigating purpose, career, and leadership decisions. December 2025 marked a significant milestone. We hosted our first physical training series, the Strategic Positioning Masterclass, in Birmingham, United Kingdom. With over 35 emerging leaders and early career professionals in attendance, the session created an environment of learning, strategy, and transformation, reinforcing Prime Counsel's commitment to tangible, real-world impact.
Growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens when potential is challenged, refined, and given a voice. 1 year ago, Prime Counsel was founded with a clear mission to develop leaders, strengthen confidence, and unlock growth from within. We believe leadership is not about position, but about influence, clarity, and courage. Through public speaking and personal development, we help individuals grow into their capacity, communicate with purpose, and lead with conviction. We are a movement that motivates growth, builds confidence, and turns fear into fuel. This is Prime Counsel, 1 year in, and we are only getting started.
In January 2025, Prime Counsel officially emerged as an organization, but its story began earlier. What started in 2024 as a simple WhatsApp community became a movement, a growing space committed to transforming the mindset, capacity, and leadership posture of young people. By April 2025, that vision was formally established as Prime Counsel Limited, a UK-based organization with a clear mandate to raise and guide value-driven leaders across every sphere of influence. In January 2025, we hosted our first monthly webinar. By December 2025, we had successfully delivered 12 monthly webinars alongside 3 Instagram Live leadership conversations and 1 dedicated 12 monthly webinars alongside 3 Instagram Live leadership conversations and 1 dedicated skills training session for our volunteers, equipping both our audience and internal team with tools for growth and execution. Recognizing the need for deeper, personalized transformation, Prime Counsel expanded its offerings in August 2025 with the launch of the Vision Clarity Call and one-on-one mentorship sessions, providing strategic guidance, accountability, and clarity to individuals navigating purpose, career, and leadership decisions. December 2025 marked a significant milestone. We hosted our first physical training series, the Strategic Positioning Masterclass, in Birmingham, United Kingdom. With over 35 emerging leaders and early career professionals in attendance, the session created an environment of learning, strategy, and transformation, reinforcing Prime Counsel's commitment to tangible, real-world impact. Behind the scenes, growth was happening as well. Our team expanded fourfold, growing from 2 to 8 dedicated members, significantly increasing productivity, collaboration, and delivery capacity. This growth reflects not just numerical expansion, but a strengthening of systems.
Thank you for watching. We are sure you have been truly empowered and inspired to take the next step forward.
To connect with us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Prime Counsel for our video resources. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Prime Counsel _.
Prime Counsel, guiding next generation leaders.
Growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens when potential is challenged.
In January 2025, Prime Council officially emerged as an organization, but its story began earlier. What started in 2024 as a simple WhatsApp community became a movement, a growing space committed to transforming the mindset, capacity, and leadership posture of young people. By April 2025, that vision was formally established as Prime Council Limited, a UK-based organization with a clear mandate to raise and guide value-driven leaders across every sphere of influence. In January 2025, we hosted our first monthly webinar. By December 2025, we had successfully delivered 12 monthly webinars alongside 3 Instagram Live leadership conversations and 1 dedicated skills training session for our volunteers, equipping both our audience and internal team with tools for growth and execution. Recognizing the need for deeper, personalized transformation, Prime Council expanded its offerings in August 2025 with the launch of the Vision Clarity Call and one-on-one mentorship sessions, providing strategic guidance, accountability, and clarity to individuals navigating purpose, career, and leadership decisions. December 2025 marked a significant milestone. We hosted our first physical training series, the Strategic Positioning Masterclass, in Birmingham, United Kingdom. With over 35 emerging leaders and early career professionals in attendance, the session created an environment of learning, strategy, and transformation, reinforcing Prime Council's commitment to tangible, real-world impact. Behind the scenes, growth was happening as well. Our team expanded fourfold, growing from 2 to 8 dedicated members, significantly increasing productivity, collaboration, and delivery capacity. This growth reflects not just numerical expansion, but a strengthening of systems, structure, and shared vision. Throughout this journey, Prime Council has remained anchored to excellence at global and godly standards, guided by our foundational pillars: impact, influence, income. As part of our commitment to accessible transformation, we also launched our first digital product, the Prime Council Personal Development Guide, now available on our website. This resource serves as a practical framework for individuals seeking clarity, structure, and intentional growth. Prime Council is more than an organization. It is a platform, a pipeline, and a purpose-driven movement. And this is only the beginning.